What is up, everybody? It is Joe here. It is Thursday. It is the 30th of April, the final day of the month. We made it through one full, complete month of isolation. Now, we had a bit of March, obviously, but 1 month. And this month actually feels like it went by pretty quick. So I'm glad this month is over. It's the weirdest month in the history of my mankind that I've ever dealt with. And I assume it's probably the weirdest month you've ever dealt with as well, because something like this has never happened. So we're in the final 2 days of my campaign for financial awareness. And today I want to talk about our Corona summer budget. Now, one thing that coronavirus has taught us is that we can live without having to actually spend money on certain things. Our budgets hopefully have condensed during this month. A lot of people have had that forced because they actually lost their job or lost hours at work or are only living off government benefits right now until everything gets up and running again. We are starting to see that things are starting to get up and running again in certain parts of North America and the rest of the world. We have plans to actually make things start up again, usually a three-part phased approach into actually getting back into the swing of things, and those plans have been released for the most part, but we're looking at about like 75% of America is actually being let free, and Canada is on that track as well. So hopefully this all ends soon, but hopefully we do it in a safe, smart way and get back to life as usual as it can be. So first things first, let's start off with my daily market update, and then let's jump into a Corona budget for the summer. So we're seeing negativity. We have had 6 straight weeks of positivity. And in fact, the month of April, we saw a 10% uptick. We're still about 14% down on the year to date. So TSX, Dow Jones, all down today. So I want to make sure that we're not making adjustments to our investments without the help of an advisor. Again, this negativity doesn't mean that we're going to continue on down a negative path. It also doesn't mean that we're going to have multiple straight weeks of positive growth in the stock market either. We don't know what's going to happen, but what we do know is that we have had some strong growth since the bottom of the market, which happened about a month ago. So down about 1 or 2% across the board. Usually it's about 1%. So let's make sure that we're not making adjustments without talking to a financial advisor. Of course, May 1st is tomorrow, so we want to make sure that we're actually taking care of our CERB benefit. Make sure that we're applying for this, getting the $2,000 we need to actually pay our bills. You have to apply every month. Put a little bit away for tax so you know next year you're going to get dinged by tax. So make sure that you're ready for that. Also, download the combo expenses worksheet. The post I'm going to be sharing today is actually conducive to downloading that worksheet and getting on track. So make sure you download that worksheet, get going with that, and get the budget in place as we move towards the summertime and get our finances straight while we're dealing with coronavirus. So let's jump into this post that I released in May of 2019, so about a year ago now. 15 things to ditch before the summer. And the good thing about this post is that if we're actually ditching things before the summer, oftentimes we ditch them already right now because of coronavirus. So it shouldn't be too hard to conceptualize actually getting rid of some of these things. The unused gym membership. So gyms are starting to open in the United States. Some places here in Canada, they are not open yet. So you still can't go to the gym. But what have you done this month since you have not been going to the gym? A lot of people are doing home workouts, as you probably see on your social media, people sharing off their home workouts. Our gym that is attached to my place of work is actually doing virtual workouts. To me, I like going to the gym, but I also could see that not having a gym membership is also something that's useful. There's no point really in going to the gym if you don't go on a regular basis. In my mind, you should be going at least 3 times a week to make that membership worthwhile. And there's lots of gyms now that actually have discounted pricing anywhere from $5 to $20 a month, as opposed to the $40, $50, $60, or $70 a month. So getting used to actually going on a regular basis or cutting up that gym membership and then doing it from home, it might be a better idea. So if you're not using it, get rid of it. And right now, we haven't been using it because we couldn't, so maybe you're used to that. So it's something to look at, that's for sure. Cable TV. Now, getting rid of cable TV, it's a tough one because I love my cable TV. I like getting my news. I like getting all of that stuff. But the biggest thing about it is that we are in a position where you don't even need to have cable TV anymore. I'm surprised they still charge exorbitant rates for cable TV, given the fact that most people actually don't have it now. So actually getting rid of it or narrowing down what you could actually use your cable TV for. Streaming is huge. Obviously, Netflix, Amazon has a streaming service. Disney has a streaming service. HBO has a streaming service. Streaming services are top notch. They're actually coming out more useful now. So your high speed internet connection can actually get you all the TV that you want. So getting rid of that expensive cable TV is a huge one. The car, well, here's an amazing one. The car, we have not been able to go anywhere. And the big thing about it, I haven't spent almost any money on gas this month. I've traveled maybe 10 minutes a week over the course of the past, or 10 minutes a week over the course of the last month. So maybe an hour of driving total for the past month, and not using your car. Or if you have two people and two cars, maybe only using one car. We've had to work from home. So maybe ditching the car in terms of that commute is actually maybe a good idea. Maybe asking your boss if you can work from home and then switching as a 2-car household to a 1-car household. That can save you a lot of money. Now, I'm not saying that everyone should do this, but it's something definitely to evaluate. It's worthwhile, and it can actually save you a ton of money every month, especially if you have a huge car payment. Air conditioning, right? So honestly, I love my air conditioning, but knocking it down a few temperatures and degrees in the winter, it's a surefire way to save some money on hydro. Now, if you can actually live without air conditioning, which I feel I cannot, then it's something to consider, because your hydro bill in the summertime goes through the roof. So maybe you're only turning your hydro bill on with the temperature, or your air conditioner on, to save money on hydro if you hit a certain level of degrees temperature outside. So maybe that threshold is, say, 27 degrees outside Celsius, and that's when you turn on your air conditioner. So if you can make a way to not use it, which obviously I haven't turned on yet because it's still May here, coming up in Canada, and we haven't had to. But in the heat of July and August and often September, the air conditioning bill can go through the roof. So saving on air conditioning and being cognizant about your electricity bill is huge. Expensive hotels. Now here's another one. We can't even go to hotels anymore. Services like Airbnb have actually made expensive hotels kind of ridiculous in the fact that they would charge you $200, $300, $400 a night. So saving that money on a regular basis, if you do like to go out and travel, you do like to go places, would actually save you a huge amount of money. And especially if you're doing it for work and not getting full recompensation for that. So you need to find effective ways to actually stay where you want to stay without paying huge rates for hotels. And to me, it's quite puzzling why hotels charge so much, even though the competitor Airbnb is actually taking a ton of business from them because of that. It's sort of like cable TV. Streaming services killing that. Why wouldn't the cable TV bill come down to make it more competitive? I don't know. So let's make sure that we're actually being cognizant of what we spend on hotels on a regular basis. Credit card. We are seeing right credit card bills are actually being reduced in interest rates. So if we can work on eliminating our credit card and actually going on an all cash diet during this period of time, that will be a great thing. And if you're actually shopping online a lot during this period, maybe cutting that out as well. But the money that you pay every month for your minimum credit card bill could be damaging to your monthly budget. So check out what you're doing on a regular basis with your credit card, because this is actually a huge point of contention for people and their budgets. They spend too much money on credit card interest, and it's actually hurting their monthly budget, and it's a terrible, terrible thing. Amusement parks, we can't go to those right now, so what are we missing out on? So like places to take your kids, maybe if you find places that are a little bit cheaper or more within your budget range. And honestly, certain places I mentioned here, like Marineland or African Lion Safari, places with animals locked up, these places shouldn't even exist in my opinion, but the fact that they do, they're super expensive, and going there just to take your kids to see a dolphin. We have the internet now. See a dolphin on the internet. You don't need to see one in person. Like, honestly, it's a terrible place in my opinion, but also very expensive. So making sure that you're not wasting huge chunks of money going to amusement parks when you could actually just go to your local park and enjoy yourself there. Kids don't know, and they don't care. They don't know about African Lion Safari unless you take them there. So if you never take them there, they never know. Heads up, They don't know. They only know what they've done with you. So if you set a precedent of taking these kids to expensive places because you feel that's the thing to do, that's what's up. And that's the same way I feel about gifts. If you're buying gifts for people and you set a bar of expensiveness for it, that's the one you have to follow. So you set that bar. So in that reality, you set the bar of what you're spending. Make sure you set it low, because let's be honest, kids don't care. Kids will play with a box rather than the toy that came in the box. What does that tell you? They don't care. They don't know. They don't care. So don't set this precedent of taking kids, especially babies. Why would anyone take a baby to Marineland? Why? The kid's never going to remember this. And you take the picture just to show your friends. The kid later in life, if that picture exists in Marineland where they got to see the whale, they're not going to know if it was never there. So the only reason you did it is to actually take them there to show off to your friends the picture you took. That's vanity. That's your fault. So, expensive amusement parks, taking babies and kids under the age of 5, first of all, why? They'll never remember. Second of all, what's the point? Take them somewhere in your neighborhood, or take them maybe out to a trail a mile away, or out to the country to see a horse or something like that. Ultimately, you don't need to do this. It's just a waste of money. The movie theater. Now, we can't go to the movie theater. Honestly, I never go to the movie theater. I don't even like the movie theater. I'd rather watch a movie at home, to be totally honest. But the movie theater, very, very expensive. Why am I going to pay $10 for popcorn and $5 for a giant Coca-Cola when I can buy a case of Coca-Cola for $5 and a case of popcorn for $5 and watch a movie at home in the comfort of my own home? I don't need to get dressed up. I have booze right there. I have my bedroom right next to it. It's perfect. Why do I need to go to the movie theater? There's no point. Date night at the movie theater, to me, kind of ridiculous. So I never understood why people get so caught up in movie theaters. And now that we can't even go to them, we're starting to see that, oh, maybe we can just stay home and not go to movie theaters. And when we do go back, there are going to be distancing rules within them, maybe 25 to 50% capacity. So what's the point? Stay home. I don't get it. Date night out. Now, I love going out on date nights, like going out to a restaurant, stuff like that. But we're starting to see how actually having a date night at home might be the best way to do it. Cooking a meal, ordering in a meal, as opposed to going out to an expensive meal at a restaurant. I mean, I love going to restaurants and I love going to bars, but now we're starting to see how useless that routine actually is. Maybe it's something that you do not as regular as you used to. Instead of once a week, maybe once a month. Instead of once a month, maybe once a quarter. In that situation, why not support this restaurant or whatnot with ordering takeout or something like that? So that's my theory on day night out. It's very expensive. And if you're doing this on a regular basis, you're spending tons of money on date nights out. The Cottage. I didn't have a cottage growing up. I kind of wish I did, but now looking back on it, it's like an expensive trip. So even if you're just renting a cottage for a weekend, that's not cheap. You're spending tons of money just to go out and actually sit in some other home that's not yours. If you own a cottage, you know how expensive the upkeep can be and the regular visits to the cottage can be. If you're not owning one and just renting one, super, super expensive. So you're buying huge amounts of food and booze and whatnot to bring to the cottage, when in all reality, you could have just done that at home. And yeah, okay, maybe it's not the same experience, you're not by a lake or whatever, then why do you need to rent a cottage to go to a lake? Ultimately, a day out at the beach or a day out at the lake does not require you renting a cottage. One of you can drive, one of you can come back. Ultimately, the cottage is super expensive. You know what? If you can afford it, it's one thing. But for people who can't afford it, then, and they're just doing that on a regular basis because they want it to be done, then that's a waste of money, in my opinion. Your weekends. Now, what I mean by this is that if you're actually trying to pay off debt or save money, then maybe giving up your weekends or part of your weekend to work a second job is a huge thing. One added bonus about working more, it means you spend less because you have a less opportunity to spend money. You are not spending money on a regular basis if you're working. It's hard to spend money while you're at work. So make sure that if you need to pay off debt or save money, you're going at it with a sheer intensity. And that might mean giving up a Saturday every week, or giving up every second Saturday, or maybe even giving up your whole weekend, to be totally honest. Now, a lot of people live for the weekend. I don't like this mentality. For me, it means that if you're living for the weekend, you're not really living a good life. And you need the weekend to make it better. That's something I don't understand. If you hate your life so much that you need the weekend to make it better, so maybe you take that time to actually work and make more money and pay off debt and save for the future. It'll get you ahead. I gave up my weekends for like 10 years, probably about, no, 12 years, and I feel I'm better off because of it. So that's just me. Your significant other. This is a tough one. If your significant other, if the person that you're with is weighing you down in terms of your budget, then you have to revisit that. Both partners need to get on the same page. Life is far too short to be miserable all the time. And if you're not truly happy with the person you're being with, what's the point? Honestly, what's the point? You should be parallel lines moving together. It shouldn't be intersection when you actually feel that you need companionship. Loneliness, as we will actually see right now, will make us do silly things. So actually taking care of the fact that we are looking after ourselves and the person that we're with is actually helping us along in our path instead of hindering us. You don't need someone to actually pay your way, but you definitely should not be paying someone else's way. So what this means to me is that evaluating your relationship from a financial standpoint, you have to be open about money. Most marriages end because of money problems. So actually being frank and open with your partner is huge, and that's something that I always look to. Booze. Booze is a big one. We can't go out to the bars right now. So we're starting to understand that maybe buying booze and drinking at home is the cheapest and most effective way to do it. You can go buy a 24 pack of beer for $40 as opposed to 24 individual beers could cost you over $100 or $150 depending on what part of the world you live in. It's expensive to drink at bars. So maybe just buying drinks and having them at home amongst friends is the best way to go about it. And we're starting to see that people are getting creative with their social outings because we can't see each other right now. So virtual parties with friends, when these restrictions get lifted, maybe we start to see that being at home is actually the best thing for us, and actually spending our money and drinking at home or just not drinking at all is the best thing we can do. And a lot of people are starting that right now. If you can't afford to go out and drink booze, then you shouldn't, and that's just a fact. Electricity, again, I mentioned hydro earlier, but like not having things on when you're not there is huge. Making sure you're turning off things or unplugging things that you're just not using. Hydro bill is a massive, massive part of our monthly budget, including electric or air conditioning in the summertime. So if you are making sure that you're actually cutting down on this hydro bill, that's a huge thing, and that's something that I feel that all of us can do. And purge your monthly costs. Now, I helped people save about $300 a month on their insurance. I'm constantly rejigging people's life insurance and disability and critical illness insurance to help them save money. It took me 10 minutes to actually evaluate what they have and then produce for them a new insurance game plan. It's not that difficult, and all it takes is someone with me with the know-how to actually show you how to save money on your monthly insurance. This is a way that you could save more and invest more on a regular basis. So take a look at your monthly costs, and that's why the combo expenses worksheet to me is so useful, because you can actually use that, purge your monthly costs, and have extra money to pay off debt or save money on a regular basis. So that's my post on 15 things to ditch before the summer. I wrote it before last summer, but now before this summer, as we're getting used to the coronavirus, we can actually see what we can get rid of on a regular basis. I'm also including this post from The Balance, a website that I absolutely love. 6 ways to save money on a tight budget. They go over change your television service, which I mentioned. Take a look at your food bill. We're all eating at home right now for the most part. Hopefully you're not ordering takeout every night of the week. While we're eating at home, we could stop eating out. We can actually cook our own food or actually just eat leftovers, stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Cut every category just a little bit, and I mentioned that with purge your monthly costs. That's a huge one. Switch to cash, so chopping up the credit cards was something that I mentioned in my last post too. A cash diet is often very effective for people. Paying off debt, I mentioned interest charges, so interest charges on a monthly basis could zap your monthly budget. And find a way to cut back on big expenses. Is your car payment too much? Is your insurance bills too much? Could you bring in a roommate if you have room for it? These are huge ways to actually save money on a regular basis. So this is a post I'm included from The Balance. Love this website. Lots of great tools and tips on that site. And I'm also going to include this post that I released at the end of 2018, 50 budget hacks for 2019. But it's 50 things, 50 things that you can cut from your budget on a regular basis to help you actually save money. And this is a great time to start thinking about stuff like that, especially since we are in the midst of coronavirus and having to actually think about what we can do on a regular basis to save money. Also, step 1 of the relevant retirement system, budget. This is where I tell people how they can actually save money on a regular basis in their budget. This is the foundation of my retirement system of actually saving money and then focusing on building a monthly surplus so you can buy insurance at a and pay off your home. These are the steps to get you to where you want to be for your retirement. So check that post out if you get a chance. So that is my post for today. I want to get people to actually, first of all, I'll show you before that, I will show you how you can get in touch with me. First off, apply for the CERB. Remember, it's taxable benefit, but make sure you apply every month. Combo expenses worksheet, you got to download it. And you can follow me at Facebook at Joe Budget Boss. It's Budget Boss if you type in the Facebook search. Almost 13,000 followers and likes on Facebook. That's an amazing thing. You can follow me on the Twitter as well at Joe Budget Boss. Also DM me or follow me on Twitter and Instagram, IGTV. All the videos are going to be on. So that is at Joe Budget Boss. IG, and you can reach me and see all the videos on YouTube as well. The whole catalog of videos, so far 29 of them as of today, is going to be there, as well as other videos that I have actually done over the course of my my time at Budget Boss. I'm sorry, I got a little tongue-tied there. So yeah, the course of my time at Budget Boss, I've actually done that. So check it out, and you can also find me at budgetboss.ca/contact, and you could book a meeting with me there, or actually talk to me and join my email list. So on the bottom there is a way to contact me. Shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. The email is joe@budgetboss.ca. Great place to get a hold of me. So yes, joe@budgetboss.ca. So thank you for tuning in today. Tomorrow is the last day of the month. It is May 1st tomorrow, and it's the last day of the Corona campaign for financial awareness, so I want you to tune in. Have yourself a great day, guys.